You know, I don't know that there was any low as last year on the last day of the session when the bill failed. The days that I got discouraged, the days that I thought, gosh, there's no way this is going to happen, there's no way this will ever pass, I would think about the families. These parents are dealing with special needs kids 24 hours a day, no let up, and that's what kept me going. This journey that we've been on for about 15 months started when I chatted with a little girl named Haleigh Cox. She was having 100 to 200 seizures a day. Her mom was challenging me to figure out a way. How do we get medical cannabis oil legal in Georgia? The number one objective since last year is how do we figure out these families that we know of that have moved to another state, split up their families, left their support networks, and figure out a way to get them back home. And that's why the passage of HB 1 is such a big deal. That's what's brought us to this point today where HB 1 would provide cannabis oil legally in the state of Georgia to those with 8 different medical conditions, from seizure disorders to cancer to MS to ALS to mitochondrial disease to Parkinson's disease to Crohn's disease to sickle cell disease. What's been really special about this effort is that there have been a lot of people involved.
This bill is a great first step to getting our families back together, to getting these patients, these children, the opportunity to treat in a familiar environment. I can only imagine that that's every parent's hope and every parent's dream is to be able to manage the health care of their child.
I think that thinking on this issue has evolved probably in the most appropriate way it ever could for legislation, and that is to see practical situations, real lives, real circumstances that cause you to evaluate what can you do to relieve suffering. To those families and those children who are represented here today, I want to tell you that without your support, without all that you have done, this would not have been possible. There are many children just like Haleigh Cox for whom this legislation is named. After so many years, in some cases, of separation and inability to receive what they consider to be appropriate treatment for these debilitating conditions, this law will now put in place a framework to be able to remedy that. We will sign into law House Bill 1. It is now my pleasure to present to Haleigh Cox and her family the first temporary card, and of course she is the young lady for whom this legislation is named.
We've been dreaming of this for 16 months, and for it to all come together today, it's just amazing. The governor was behind us and really wanting to help the citizens, and to see him with emotion talking about these kids, it just means the world to all of us. The only roadblock is not being able to get access to the medicine here, but I have to thank Georgia for giving us at least the option this year to be able to get the medicine and keep it here.
They did listen to our stories and the people that are actually living in Colorado, and the medicine does work.
It's great that we can go get the medicine somewhere else and bring it back here, but ultimately we need to have access to it here in Georgia.
Right now she's on 5 pharmaceutical medications that have dangerous side effects, and now we have the option to try other things from other states that are actually safer and better for her.
We now start the process of bringing our medical refugees home. But I'm telling you, the real heroes in this effort are the moms and dads of these kids who came down here day after day, lobbying, spending time away from their jobs, spending time begging legislators to pass legislation that would give them access to cannabis oil. They're the ones that are the real heroes and deserve really the credit for the passage of this bill.
Many times legislation is based on recommendations of think tanks and experts. This is one that I think comes at the grassroots, truly, from the families, from the children, and for those who are personally affected by it. And I think that is what has touched the hearts of the members of the General Assembly. It certainly has touched my heart. And I'm just pleased that today we're going to make a difference. And it's going to be a good difference.